Well, I guess originally I'm from Long Island, but I've been here for a while, and I go to a lot of the meetings. So I started going to school board, and it's just really an interesting meeting. And when there was this vacancy, I felt like I would just try because I could contribute something to the board.
I understand you're a journalism person yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, you got a background in television news.
I used to do TV, so I'm really good at deadlines and having to be there at a certain time. So that's why with these meetings and all, I'm always like going because I'm used to doing that as a reporter, but it helps you learn about what's going on and what are the issues, in the community. So
now, where were you a reporter at? And how long were you there?
I was reporting in Texas, Oklahoma along the border, and also in Pennsylvania in 2 different places. So. And I did some behind the scenes work too in Columbia and New Orleans.
Is it something you'd ever want to get back into?
Maybe. I think it's changed a lot, the business, and even after COVID also.
Is that when you left during the COVID time?
It was a little bit before that.
Okay.
Then the COVID hit, and I think that changed a lot. Even with TV, just losing a lot of viewership too. It's been hard, and just the internet too. It's changed the business.
So what brought you to Georgetown County?
For family here.
Yeah, you like it?
I do. I like it. It's pretty. I was thinking when I was driving down here how fortunate, I am to be in this position to be able to run and to be living in this beautiful area. So it's definitely, and it has a lot to it, and a lot that I'm still learning about the history and everything. So.
What can you bring to the board that would make Georgetown County School District a better place?
I think it's just knowledge of having gone to a lot of meetings, covered a lot of stories in school districts in different places, just a new set of eyes, maybe a little bit younger, just some of the journalism background as far as reporting, asking questions. I like to go into, documents and budgets, so I'm going to be asking those, looking in depth, and we have a Black River teacher that was on there that they're cutting out. So like just individual little things and a lot of questions maybe they don't ask. In the past couple of meetings, they say, do you have any questions? And nobody does. So I will definitely have the questions. I'm not coming in as if I know everything, because I don't. I mean, I have a lot to learn also, but I'm learning in that process with you. And also I want people to interact with me if they have problems with the school district, to contact me and see what we can do to help. So.
Now you've looked at the budget that's still to be ratified that goes into effect July 1st. Anything you see in there that throws up any red flags for you?
I don't think so. There was some detail at the last meeting that isn't in yet because of reassessment and so forth. So I like that the raises, I think is helpful, but I've also learned now that some of the other districts, Charleston is going up to 60,000, so we're only at 50,000. So again, you're always playing catch up, and we have the inflation that's gone in. So, we have to definitely look at, we want the teachers to be in a comfortable environment. So this budget is going through, so I won't be able to participate in that, but I would be learning for the next time, definitely. So.
Now, one thing we've heard every year, we always hear this, is that the school district office, the administration office, the Beck Center, is top heavy. We've got too many employees in that office. Do you agree with that?
I mean, there are a lot. I would have to look and compare to the other districts to see if it is. I mean, when I was in Long Island, there were definitely a lot of curriculum associates and different people that worked in the office. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would have to look more at it. Yeah.
Now, you've been following the school board and school district since they started the magnet program in the Culver's Bay attendance area for the schools there. From what you see, as an outsider looking in, I mean, do you think it's been successful? Is it something that should continue after the 5-year contracts are up, or what do you think?
Yeah, and I'm worried about that because we're getting to like the 3rd year or something, 4th, and so there's only a couple of years left of that. So I'm worried about how is that going to be replaced? So I want to look at that carefully. I like the logos and everything and the excitement, that has generated, but we definitely have to look at, okay, are we going to Georgetown County going to continue somehow to do that? I don't know. So I want to look at that.
One of the reasons for the magnet schools was to try to get the schools more desegregated because of the Justice Department decree. But it doesn't look like any of the schools have gained a lot of students from other parts of the county. So, I mean, what do you think in the last 2 years of this program, if it's not renewed, what can the district do to try to, fulfill that goal of trying to, get more students that are needed in the Carvers Bay area?
Right. And I mean, I've thought about that a lot, and I've looked at what was submitted, the 600-page study that they, when they got the grant. And I mean, I think geographically it would be difficult to get people to cross, because you have to come through Georgetown around. So, and they said that you're right, they said the enrollment was going to increase in Carvers Bay. I don't think we've seen a huge increase, but I mean, that doesn't mean that the program is bad or that the students aren't benefiting from it. So, I mean, I just think we need to be looking very carefully at that because it's going to be coming up soon, as far as losing the end of that funding. So.
And speaking of the Carvers Bay attendance area, and I'm sure you follow this as well since you've been keeping up with things going on in the district, Plantersville Elementary School, they really only have dozens of students, I mean, not even 100. And we've heard the argument through the years that, the money would be better spent if you close that school, send the students to Browns Ferry or Kensington, and, cut that expense. But it's part of the community in Plantersville. Right. That's, the big pushback is, this is part of our community. We don't have a middle school in Plantersville. We don't have a high school in Plantersville, but we do have our elementary school. Right. So the community loves their school, but it's an expense. So what's your thoughts? I mean, on Plantersville Elementary?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, and it is going to be under 70 now. So,
yeah.
I mean, if there's a lot of money being spent to keep the building open, as opposed to having them in Browns Ferry or Maryville or Kensington or somewhere, we have to look at the cost benefit because the budget is a moral document and we're spending money, for our kids to get them the best education. So, I'm open to looking at everything on that. If it needs to close, I want the students to be successful in the other schools. So, and if people don't want it to close, I mean, I'm open to hearing from them too. But I mean,
you think there needs to be more?
I've been there, and But,
you think there needs to be more dialogue about it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because what happens is the school board brings this topic up, and they'll talk about it for a month, maybe 2. And then it goes away. You don't hear about it for a couple of years, and then they bring it back up. So I'm sure it's going to come back up. It did not come up a lot during this budget process season, but for the 2026-27 year, it may come back up again. So if you're elected, it may be a topic you have to deal with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I was working in Du Bois, Pennsylvania, we had a couple of elementary schools that closed, and it was difficult for those people, to. Because people went to that school. So, I mean, it's always difficult. But as the enrollment goes down, I mean, you have to look also at the cost. So.
But elementary schools become part of the community. A little more than middle and high schools. Even though high school with sports and things they do. But when it comes to just, families being involved in a school because of the age of the kids, elementary schools are... the ones where it happens at. Yeah. And I can understand the people in Plantersville saying, hey, please don't close our school.
Yeah.
But I can understand the people saying, hey, this is expensive. So,
and there are a lot of things that are being spent, in the budget. So I don't think we need to just, focus hyper on Plantersville. I mean, it may be one
what's
thing,
some other things that you've seen in the budget?
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot in there.
Seen in the budget that you say?
The enrollment is going down in Waccamaw. It's not like we're talking about closing anything in Waccamaw. So, I mean, it's a small part, I would say. Other things that are in the budget, I think the salaries increasing was something that I was focused on, but that seems to be like a small cost of living increase. So I want to see, with as far as compared to other school districts, we want the staff to be well compensated. So that's something that I want to look at more as we go into the next budget year, because this year is kind of done almost. So, and it will be once the election is.
Yeah. Now, if you do win, whoever wins this race, I mean, they've got almost a full term to complete, because, the board member who resigned was only elected in November. So you've almost got a full term to complete. One thing that may come up during the next 4 years, probably will come up, at least in conversation, if not actions, because of all the houses being built in Georgetown County. We're probably in the next 4 years going to have to look at new schools, whether it's elementary, middle, or high. What's your thoughts on that? Where should new schools go? I mean, what's your thoughts on new schools for the county?
Mm-hmm. Well, just thinking, I mean, I know there's some development like going up west of Georgetown, so maybe, but I think we have room in some of the buildings, that we could accommodate some more students. So I think we'll have to see what are they, I mean, if it's retire up in Pauley's, maybe more retirees, maybe may not be as many kids. So we'll have to see what.
I'm thinking more of like the Kensington, Ringgold Heights area where you've got Crown Point is supposed to build.
Right.
And, that's 701 in the Ringgold Heights, Kensington area, that vicinity.
What I was thinking of. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we do get the hundreds of houses there, I mean, we probably got to look at least, I mean, you've got, Browns Ferry and Kensington elementary schools in that vicinity,
right.
But middle and high school, I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you would have to see what, who moves in, if there's a lot of families, if all those elementary schools, the four or the ones, Kensington, Maryville, and McDonald are all, the buildings are full, then you would have to look at adding. I mean, other than that, you're adding into those buildings probably. And as far as the middle school, right, that too. I mean, in Waccamaw, they've done where there's only 2 grades in one of the schools, so it may be that something needs to realign, but we'll have to see what that happens. So we haven't had any major population shifts like that recently, so I guess we've been lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
But
the next 4 or 5 years could be very interesting.
Yeah.
One thing that's changed in the 30-some years I've been doing news here is the power that the school board has. I mean, back 30 years ago, they got to have a say-so in a lot more than they do now. The state has a lot of the authority on things that that used to be on the local level, right. Decades ago. But one thing that the school board can do, and it has happened in districts, across the state and across the country, is books in libraries. What's your thoughts on that about, districts looking at books and saying, that shouldn't be in our library, and taking the books out?
In school libraries?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in support of access to information. As a reporter, I always want more information. I wanted to do more interviews, get all sides of the story. So as a reader, I would want to have access to whatever.
But a lot of districts are saying these books are not appropriate for whatever, right. Whether it's elementary or middle school libraries, and they're taking them out. I haven't heard of any of that happening in Georgetown County, but it could. What are your thoughts on that? Should there be what some people call censorship of books in libraries?
I mean, overall, I wouldn't think there should be censorship. I think the librarians probably in the school have a good handle on what kind of books they order. I mean, if there's complaint about books, obviously we'll have to deal with that if that comes up. I haven't heard anybody complain. I mean, I want people to hold us accountable too, just as the board is, we'll be holding the superintendent accountable as she moves into her, term that she started. So, if there are people with concerns about books, I'm open to listening to that. But overall, as a reader, I like to read all type of books. And so I would hope that the students would have access to books. Yeah.
Now, what's some other things you want to make sure people know about you or your ideas for the district?
Well, I'm getting excited about it. We have this. I was there when they were interviewing for the superintendent, and I want to see, what she's able to do, and I want to hopefully that the scores will improve in some of the schools where they haven't been so good on the report cards. And I'm not all about the tests because sometimes the tests are not perfect, So, but it is one predictor of how the schools are doing that we do have. So I want to, hopefully we'll be able to improve those. Also, I want to look at when they were choosing the superintendent, there was different complaints that came in. So I want to look at from that packet of information, and also the parent climate surveys, what concerns the parents have and what we can do to address it and make sure that the schools are a great place for the kids to learn. And as they deal with more with technology, and now we've taken their phones, so we're putting that away during the school day. And hopefully, we're getting kids in with the AI is coming, so we're hopefully getting the kids acclimated to all the things that they may face when they go for a job in the future, So it's exciting. We're getting into the second quarter of this century. I mean, who thought, we'd be here and all these great things that are happening. So I'm excited about it. There's things about teacher villages that they're doing in other areas, so maybe we should look at that, to keep teachers here, if we could have some kind of program. Or
what is a teacher village?
It's like they could live there, because it's hard to find apartments and stuff, so maybe there's some kind of program like that, or we can do more professional development. I want to do things that make it a good place to work.
Do you think that is? Let me ask you that about, because you mentioned teacher village, and that's one thing we hear. Now, this is not in the power of the school board to do anything about, but county council, whoever, city council, affordable housing. One of the reasons we may not have as many teachers as we need, or may not be able to keep the teachers, is because of the cost of housing in Georgetown County. Is there a way the district can work along with county council and housing development companies to try to make this happen?
I mean, I don't think it's really the purview probably of the school district to be making real estate or whatever, but I mean, I definitely like with the plant closing, I believe the school superintendent was involved in those press conference a little bit, so maybe we could, find out and stay up to date with what the county and the other ones are doing. But as far as the teacher villages, there's like a program in Fairfield County, there's different counties that are trying it, so I'm trying to look at, if there are any interesting programs, or even like green buildings, and just we want to look to the future and see if there's anything exciting we can do, because we have a new superintendent, we have, a lot of new board members that have been coming in, so we want to, make it exciting for the kids and in all the schools, all the 19 schools.
Okay. So we're wrapping up here. I just want to give you a chance to tell people why they should vote for you on July 8th.
I hope they will vote for me, because I'm excited about our schools, and I want to give everyone a voice and be somebody that will be accountable to you and that you can contact if you have any issues in your school or with your students, and also for the staff to make sure that we're moving ahead and we have a great next few school years coming up. So I hope they will support me.